Hi, welcome. And today we're doing a Drops of God inspired blind test. We're from The Wind Up, and I'm Trent.
And I'm Jason, and we're two guys on an unfiltered and unapologetically unprofessional wine journey. And our slogan is drink
Drink more,
more,
try
try more,
more,
learn
learn more.
more.
In terms of fun facts, I'll start with, thought of the week. And for my thought of the week, it's around why we do this segment. And sometimes it's about getting to know a bit more about the wines, and sometimes we're also about to get to know a bit more about us. Okay, so a few weeks ago, we were having dinner, me, you, and also another mate as well. And then after a few drinks, as you tend to do, we started to do a psychological assessment of each other.
Of course.
And
Yes.
one of the tag that I got labelled with was a introverted extrovert.
Yes. I
Okay,
remember.
you remember? Oh, no, so extroverted introvert was actually what it was. So then I go, okay, I had to kind of think about that and ponder about that, what it actually meant. So I had to then Google, maybe go to chat GPT as well to understand what it actually meant. And the thing that kind of, it said back to me was, you speak passionately about what you know, but you tend to keep quiet otherwise. Point two, you thrive among friends but struggle around strangers. And point three, you show unwavering loyalty to a core group of friends. So these things kind of resonated to me.
Absolutely. They describe you to a T, yes.
It describes me to a T. And then I guess in terms of the relevancy to this podcast, I guess they're saying that for me, it's not something that's kind of easy to kind of push myself out there, to put myself out there to do this wine journey with you. And also, I think it's coming out of the comfort zone to show our passion for the wine. And I love it that we're kind of sharing this journey as well, as I kind of open up to strangers, and as we also show that kind of unwavering loyalty to the core group of friends, being yourself in this sense, as we kind of produce this podcast.
Bloody hell, I feel like giving you a man hug right now. That was sweet. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely agree. And look, you're doing a fantastic job, I got to say. I think you were a bit on edge about
Yeah.
starting this, but I can see you really enjoying it, and I'm enjoying it with you.
That's
Describes
good.
you well. Okay. and so it's really hard for me to kind of segue into something else because that was deep but good, and I do want to reiterate I'm enjoying doing
Yeah.
this with you. My thought of the week was about the Drops of God TV series, and I should start off by saying, God, we're dressed up quite strangely. It's not something that we typically wear. I haven't seen Trent in a very long time in a tie, and the skinny tie as well, which is fantastic. But there's a reason for that, and our episode today is about Drops of God, which we'll probably dive into a bit more. I wanted to share my thoughts on the episode and what on the series and what I really picked up from it. First thing I wanted to say, it's a damn good show, regardless of whether or not you're into wine. It has conflict, it has drama, it has two of my favorite countries, which I'd actually love to live in at one point, which is France and
What
Japan.
about Australia?
And I live in Australia already, so I'm not discounting. Australia's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's a great show that shows the dynamics of those two places. And I was researching about the creators of the show. It's actually based on a manga series from Japan, developed in 2004, and it's actually written by a brother and a sister. And for those that have watched the show, you'll actually understand why that flows through the show itself.
You can't give it away though.
That's right, and that's where I'm stopping. That's where I'm stopping. So you'll be able to get that. And it taught me so much about wine. So it was a very entertaining show, but it gave me a lot of respect as to the volume of wine out there. Sometimes we're in a bit of a bubble. I'm focusing on Australia and the wines out there, but internationally, there's such a diversity of wine. And if you think about the years and so forth, but also the skill set of the somms and the master somms that are out there. I know that it's a fictional story where they can actually depict the wines, but to have a skill set where you're able to test and work out vintage, region, and variety of the grape, which is amazing. I think that's a true skill set, and I applaud everyone that's already gone down that route. It's something that we're going to try today, and I'm very scared of it. So I just wanted to share a few of the things that I'd learned about the show, and I hope everyone gets a chance to watch it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just as a build in terms of the kind of drops of cod story, I think there's a bit of fact, there's a bit of fiction to it as well. But in terms of itself, you mentioned that it's kind of based on a Japanese manga series. In terms of setting the context of it, it's on a wine critic, a French wine critic, Alexandre Leger. Did I mention that right?
That sounds good. Yes.
Sounds right. So he passed away and left in his kind of enormous cellar 87,000 bottles worth about $148 million US. So spectacular. I think when you kind of see it on the show, it's kind of like something that you can dream about in terms of happening and having yourself as your own cellar. So to then win that inheritance, it's down to two people. One being Issei Tomine, which is his protege, and the second one being Camille Leger, which is his daughter. So they're kind of estranged since they were young, but while they were young, Camille was kind of, I wouldn't say forced, but kind of like directed to kind of like train her senses, kind of smelling a bit of grass or smelling a bit of forest floor, smelling a bit of boysenberry, blackberry, and kind of picking those different scents. So she's very attuned in terms of how her scents are, but she's kind of left that because that she had kind of some wild reactions to alcohol, where she caused her to kind of faint. Also
bleeding nose
as well. Yeah.
Yes.
So that kind of sets the scene. So two people, Issei Tomine, protege, daughter Camille, and the dad has left a few tests to kind of see who is the best one out of the two, to see who can win that 87,000 bottles, $148 million US worth of wines.
Great prize. Yes.
So the test that he constructed was 6 tests. The first one being a blind taste of wine. So both of them tasted a wine, and they had to come back in a few days, kind of pick, the year, the producer, and the wine itself. Big challenge. The second one was looking at a 17th century painting and then understanding what type of wine that represents. I don't know how.
Hard challenge.
I don't know how that happened.
Yes.
Third test was just a quiz on the knowledge of wine, which is a bit more straightforward, a bit more realistic. Test 4 was a food and wine pairing. Again, that kind of makes sense, what works, what doesn't work. I think that's cool. Test 5, tasting a wine and then recreating that wine with the different blends. So the ones that they were given was a Chateauneuf de Pape, which is from the southeastern France in the Rhone area. And the Chateauneuf de Pape is notorious because it's created from 13 different grape varieties. So kind of different percentages. They had to kind of recreate that wine. And then the last test was actually to find what is the drops of God, what does that actually mean? So those are the 6 tests. So for the purpose of today, we thought we're trying to take some inspiration from those tests, and we're going to do our own little test for ourselves. And so I've got a 17th century painting here, and we have to try and guess what wine that actually represents.
Please no. I'm already scared of this test, but yeah. You're joking, right? You're joking. No. Thank God.
Okay, so do you want to talk about it, or I talk about the test that we have in front of us?
Yeah, you can talk about the test. That's fine.
Okay, so the test we have in front of us is I picked a wine, Jason picked a wine, and then we don't know what it is, and we're just going to do a blind taste for each of the wines, similar to kind of the test 1, and we're going to try and pick the year, the grape, the region, and also the price range as well for each of the wines. In terms of the kind of criteria that we kind of set ourselves, was a red wine from Australia. I did try to push the boundaries with Jason. Go, can we do a red wine from international? He said, no. F that. I couldn't possibly do anything close.
I don't remember the F. Maybe there was an S.
So the context of it is Australian red wines, and we're going to try and do that now. So we don't know what's what. Our wives are kind of like poured the wines into the different decanters, into different wine glasses, and we're going to do a reveal later on to see how much we've developed in this journey, or how much we haven't developed.
And not much from my side. I have to say I'm pissing my pants in this test because I know I would not be able to tell the difference, but that's all right. Let's give it a test and see how we go. And also to explain the outfits that we're wearing today it's inspired by the show, and I think Trent is Camille.
I'm Issei, and then this is Camille. So
So we're kind of going by what outfits they wear. I'm not going to wear
I'm
this
the
very
hot
often.
Japanese guy, and he's
I'm the redhead.
and she's the hot French woman.
More emotion, more something.
Yeah,
Something
we've
else.
even taken inspiration from the show itself in terms of, you would have seen like when Camille kind of tastes her flavors as well. It's like explosion of colors, and we can see that behind us as well. That
That's
explosion
right.
of colors can come through. Anyway, I don't know. Do we go left to right, and then we're trying to pick it down?
Let's go left to right.
Okay.
Let's go left to right. And so I find the show very informative, because the thing about the show is it gives you a few indicators whether or not they're true about how to determine the wine. And I remember one of the things that they were saying is, when you're looking at the site of it, as Trent's already deciphering it. He can't wait to win this competition. As you're looking at the wines, if it is a purple mauve color for a red wine, then it's probably more young. If it's a more, I think it was more carrot tinge to it, it may be at its peak. If it's more cocoa, then it could be over its time and a bit too old. Was one of the things. So if we go through the wind-ups regular...
I also heard that it's also fiction as well.
Yeah, well, that's what I was curious. How true is that? So if we were to apply that here...
Okay, so I don't know, is my left and his left the same? Hang on, let's see.
They're not the same. No, it's swapped.
It's
swapped, right? Inner. Go inner and outer is the way to go, right? So if we go with the inner and just go through sight, and I love the inspiration that they had here around what they thought in terms of sight. You got to lift it up to the napkin, or use your napkin as the white background. Very, oh gosh, all right. It's dark red. Is what I've got. So some dark berries is what you're thinking here. And then if they talk about the nose, they have a 3-step smell process where you kind of smell it while it's rested to get an initial hit. Why are you laughing? You love it.
I'm just thinking.
And then you give it a bit of air as a second step, and then you try the next set of scent. And see if anything else comes out, which I think it does. All right. So actually, if we go by the color and use their guidance, right? They were saying dark purple, or it's got, is it's young, or if it's at its peak, it's got a bit of an orange or a carrot tinge.
I reckon.
Yes.
Have you tasted your wine before?
I haven't.
You haven't tasted your wine before?
Never tasted my wine. Oh, you've tasted yours. So you know. This is an unfair test.
I tasted mine a while ago, but I don't remember what it tasted like.
Oh, cheating. Anyway, that's all right.
But you've tasted my one before as well.
Oh, that's a great tip. Okay,
let's see.
Well, okay, and so that carrot tinge, I'm curious in your thoughts, right? Do you describe what you're seeing as having a bit of a carrot tinge based on the show?
Okay, this is
which
what's
could
going
be
through
fictional.
my head. I'm smelling both of them first. I haven't tasted either.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one's got more age than this one. So the inner is a younger version compared to the older one, the one on the outside.
Yep.
I feel that they're both similar grape varieties as well, purely based on smell. The left one is a bit more fruity for me compared to this one. If you talk about Australian reds, there's only certain areas where I think they can do Cabernet.
Oh, you're throwing it out there already. Jesus, he's letting it go, this guy. All right, so if we were talking about the scent, I would say, like, I've actually looked at both of them right now, and again, I might hold it up to the screen,
but then
so that you can see the color of one, right? And then I want you to see the other color of this one. And it's interesting in the show because if they talk about that color kind of look, I actually think the one on the outside is a bit more carrot, a bit more orange. So I would think that that's a bit older. But you were going to say something else? Or you're giving it a try?
I'm just trying to think through it. Like, I don't know. I think probably have to do a bit more research in terms of the kind of ideal deduction going through it. Like, obviously, it's not a don't know. Should I give it away? Like, it's not a Pinot, right? You know that, right?
We know it's not a Pinot because it's a bit darker than a
Yeah.
Pinot.
So you
Yes.
kind of break it down on
Yes.
what you think it is. Is it younger? Is it older? Is it this or that? And you have to pick the sub-region as well, right? So I tell you, both wines are delicious, though.
Already, you've had them both. You've tasted them both.
No, they smell delicious.
Right.
So you haven't tasted this one on the right. You haven't tasted the one on the right
No,
before.
completely new. Completely new. And if I smell this, I mean, you said it a bit earlier. The capsicum smell comes through, which automatically makes me think about a Cab Sav. So, are we going to write it down and discuss and share it, or are we doing a blind?
We're doing a blind, and then you're going to have to put it out there in terms of what you think it is. I think.
Okay.
Do you try and name a producer?
Name a producer would be very
That's
hard.
what they did in Drops
Drops
of
of
God.
God.
Right?
I don't know enough now. Let's not try and stretch it.
They went, like 2015, Wins Coonawarra Black Label. And when Issei did it, he did it just purely on smell without the taste.
Which was impressive, right? And whether or not you can do that in reality, I'd love to know if there's a som that can do that.
I reckon.
But okay, so capsicum vibes for me on the inner one. I feel like it's not. I feel based on the scent and the color, I don't think it's fresh. I don't think it's like a 2022 or a 2021. So I think it's a bit older than that. And then the region is interesting because the other thing from the show was about there were moments where Issy and maybe Camille was tasting the soil.
Yeah.
Actually picking up rocks or pieces of dirt and licking it to get a sense of it. And that's probably something that's quite key here. So I want to give this a taste.
Licking dirt?
Licking dirt gives you an indication of the flavor. I don't know if this is a straight cab. I don't think it is.
Which one?
Just on the flavor, that does not taste like a typical. There's something else there.
So you got 30 seconds, I think, to make a decision.
Okay. And so for me, the relevance of the soil, like the thing that stands out from an SA Barossa Valley kind of soil is that clay kind of flavor and smell. As you spilled some all over your notes, you're too excited about this. Yeah. And that actually doesn't come through much on the inside. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's go and finalize the results for.
I'm done.
You've done both of them. You're too quick.
I'm done. I think I'm done.
Okay. So I've got one, and then I'm gonna try the one on the outside, which, like I did, I shared earlier. You can see the color there. Interesting, because it's actually a very similar scent, although darker color. And if I taste
I better cover my notes so you don't see it. Are you ready for the reveal? You pick your one, I'll pick my one.
I'm nearly there. You're too quick. You must be you know all the answers.
I'm eager.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready to write down. And see what the results are. All right. So what's the best way to do this? We've both written down notes on what we think they are.
I reckon you tell me what you think. Actually, what should I? you want to tell me what you think the wines are?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is that everyone needs to know. You chose one, and I chose one,
Yeah.
and so we already have a view on which one would be. So so really, the test is, did we guess the other person's
Yeah.
one correctly? All right. And so,
Or you can guess your own one as well.
which I hope you know. So let me start.
Yeah.
And I think the one that you'd chosen is the one on the inside, and it smells like a Cabernet. But as I was saying throughout it, I felt like it was a blend. So it was a blend with something else. So I felt like it was a Cabernet and a Shiraz. I didn't have a clue on the region. I didn't
the other
think
one?
it was South Australia.
And
Right?
what region do you say?
So I was saying, I'm just guessing Yarra, purely because you have quite a few Yarras, and the price range was around $50. Oh, he's laughing. He's laughing.
Okay.
He's laughing. And then, well, you try. I think it'll be interesting to see your outside. I've done the inside. What do you think is the outside?
So outside, I think it was an older vintage, because the reason why I say that one, because it's a bit more lighter, so which means that the tannins and the colours kind of like sunk down a bit more. So I put 2008. I think it was more of a kind of a blend, but I think a bit more Shiraz character to it, and $80.
Wow. All right. So should we do the reveal? Oh, because you already know the other ones. We should do the reveal, right?
So this is the B. Is that the B as well?
Is
or-
that outside the B? Okay.
No, look underneath.
So underneath is a B on the
So
outside.
did you try that? So you were talking about the A though, right?
I was talking about the A.
So the A for me was, I felt that was a younger version, Cabernet Coonawarra, $70.
Oh, it's Coonawarra. There we go. Okay. And so let's bring out and prove the
Let's
test.
go. Let's do it.
So what have you got on your side?
So this is my one.
You got a Henschke. Yep. Yep. So it's a Henschke 2008.
Keyneton Euphonium, Shiraz, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc blend.
So was it exactly as you'd written? It was a...
Well, I put Shiraz because I forgot all the other blends. But predominantly, I felt that kind of Shiraz kind of coming through. I put Cabernet Sauvignon, then crossed it off, then put Shiraz.
So it's a blend, sorry?
It's a blend, yeah. Cabernet, Shiraz,
Oh!
Merlot blend.
I got a blend.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for that. Okay.
And then your one?
So 2008. All right. And so on my side, which is the B, let me pick this out.
Yeah.
All right. So the B is actually a Nebbiolo. And it's a 2012 Nebbiolo from Beechworth in Victoria.
Oh,
And the producer is Giaconda.
Nebbiolo.
Nebbiolo, right? And I have to admit, when I was tasting it, I've never tasted this before. I had cab as well on the taste, but I know
Really?
what this is. So that was B.
So did you pick it? You knew that was
Well-
Nebbiolo.
Through the element of deduction, I knew which one was my one. But to
Yeah.
be honest,
Oh,
if I did a true blind test on both of them, I probably would have gone for a cab
yeah,
or another blend
Yeah.
with a cab in there.
and yeah.
Okay, so how did we go? What did we prove? So A, you obviously know.
Yeah.
B, you
Yeah.
were a 2016.
I thought it was 2016 Cabernet.
Okay, so 2012 is closer. Yeah.
2012, but it wasn't it wasn't Cabernet. It was Nebbiolo, Beechworth King Valley, which was in Coonawarra. So
And-
completely wrong.
And the price was close.
Close.
So $70. This was $79. And then on my side,
$50, $80. Close
yeah,
enough.
big diversity. I thought the one that you had chosen is a 2017. It was a blend, Cabernet Shiraz. So I'm happy I got a blend in there.
Yeah.
Strong Cabernet notes, but
Yeah.
there was another great variety in there.
Yeah.
I did not think it was Barossa because I didn't get that clay kind of vibe through it, but obviously I was wrong.
Wow.
And then the price I put at 50, you're saying it was $80.
Yeah.
So both wrong.
I think that was I think that was expected as well.
Well, absolutely at our level, absolutely expected, and curious if the Soms and the Master Soms could actually deduce this.
I don't No, don't
Don't
think
know.
so.
We need to do more blind testing.
Yeah, but
we need to taste more wine.
but then my special skill is I know what wine I like and what wine I don't like though.
Yes. And can we talk about that? Because I do feel there needs to be some sort of rating for this. And to be honest, I haven't tasted both enough. Is there which one did you like more over the other?
I think I said it just even on the nose and then also on taste as well. I think both are really, really good wines. Like it's really smooth for both of them. Just kind of went down. The flavors are just jam packed as well, but yet balanced.
Yes.
I think both are like 8 out of 10s for me.
Yeah. I just tried them both. And I think this is the power of the blend.
Yeah.
The blend kind of mixes the right flavors together so you just enjoy it. And that 2008 Henschke, I love it. And you're right, we've had this a couple of times. I should have picked it up. But that's beautiful. I think the Nebbiolo is quite interesting because you've introduced me to the Barollas and the Barbarescos.
Yeah.
Slightly a bit more age, but 2012 is okay.
11 years, yeah.
It's actually not as...
It's pretty damn good for Australian Nebbiolo.
It's beautiful, but the difference between the Italian ones is the tannins are still a bit more prevalent in the other ones.
And it has that
Not
kind
in
of
a bad way.
more kind of tarry kind of elements and clay
Yes,
elements and
leather,
yeah.
etc. So you know what? I agree. I'm loving both of these. I'm happy to have a bit more after we wind up the podcast here. But 8 out of 10, I'd completely agree.
So none of us win the inheritance.
Nah.
We don't win the $148 million, 87,000 bottles. We win the prize of drinking these wines today.
That's good enough for me. It's good enough for me.
Okay.
But
Wind
that's
it up.
fantastic. Wind it up. Yeah. So for me, I think apart from all of the blind tasting and so forth and the anxiousness about this, to be honest, the thing that I enjoyed was trying to find a wine that is obscure and I haven't had, and I want my friend Trent to give it a try as well. It links back to the start where there's such a diversity in wine. Keep exploring it and giving it a go. We've got 2 great examples here. You can try more. That's the.
I think it's also a very kind of fun game to do because it encourages you to think more about the wines as well. Which also, what are we doing? It's not just drinking the wines, also thinking about the wines. It helps you appreciate the kind of different nuances and flavors and about the wine. So again, they talk about kind of triggers that go, okay, for eucalyptus it's Coonawarra, or for something it's McLaren Vale, for something it's Yarra, or something like that. So it's kind of like building that kind of mental linkages or connections or neural connections between different smells, tastes to different areas. So I think that's pretty fun.
So it links back to what this podcast is about. If you're drinking more and trying more, you will build up that bank and you get greater clarity around what are the different regions, particularly for us within Australia. We'll get to learn more.
Okay.
And so we'll wind it up from there. And so thanks for joining us today. That's the Wind Up Podcast. Have a watch of Drops of God. Fantastic show. Highly recommend it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And from us at the Wind Up,
Drink more, try more, learn more. Thanks, guys.